Hello, friends, and welcome to Rise Up in Real Estate, where we are on a quest. We are looking for the extra in the ordinary. And I'm Tad Fulford, and I will be your host on this journey where we will take an honest look at what makes ordinary people extraordinary. Exactly how can we be extra in our personal and our professional lives? In this season of the Rise Up in Real Estate adventure, there will be a monthly rhythm, meaning each month we will have 4 unique episodes. In one episode, we'll tackle a pressing current real estate industry thought. In another, we will chat with a local difference maker in the real estate space. For our 3rd episode, we will host a respected national thought leader. And finally, we will have a 4th bonus and surprise episode. And in each episode, we will be digging into not only what those people think, but who those people are. Along the way, it's my hope that you'll laugh some, you'll be challenged some, you will get inspired some, and if we are lucky, maybe even figure out a way or two you can rise up in your own life and be the best human that you can be. So the challenge is, let's all rise up. So hello, we are here for another episode of Rise Up in Real Estate, and today's a different one for me. Today I'm in the studio by myself. Once a month during this season of Rise Up in Real Estate, I'm going to talk about a current industry topic. I may bring in a guest or two, but sometimes I'm going to do it just by myself. Maybe a shorter episode than normal, but it's different sitting here without the incredible humans that I've had an opportunity already to spend some time with, and I hope that you have had the opportunity to listen to one of the episodes so far in Rise Up in Real Estate. Love it if you go follow those on your favorite podcast host, and also rate us. Let us know what you think, and find us on any social media channel. Also, Rise Up in Real Estate. Things are exciting going on around. Today, I want to talk to you about something that is near and dear to my heart. I thought it was only appropriate to start with this because this is my personal passion. I figured I needed to start in my first episode solo with this idea. I want to share with you 2 things that I hope you never do. 2 things that I think are the guaranteed way to kind of sink your ship in real estate. And actually, you can correlate this straight over to your personal and professional life, both. But don't do these 2 things. If you want to have success, you want to have joy, you want to have happiness, you want to have longevity, you want to have purpose, I want you to not ever do the 2 things we're going to talk about. Now, you have to know that from my perspective, the way that I look at all things is based around the mission that we have, that Mandy and I have for our family, that we have for our businesses, that we each have for our own personal lives, to live a life of abundance. Now, in business, we try to help people build businesses to live the life that they deserve. In our personal lives, we try to define what the life is that we want, and we try to live that. We try to have a business that supports that. But in all things, abundance is the key. And for us, it comes down to being able to define that. Can you define what abundance is for yourself? Have you taken the time to look into what you really want out of life? Believe me, I do a lot of interviewing. I do a lot of one-on-ones. I do a lot of conversations with individuals on the phone. I do a lot of conversations in person, and I talk about this topic, and sometimes I get the glossy-eyed look. Like, have you ever thought about it? What is it that you want out of life? I mean, what are we here for, right? What are the things that we're all about? What are we trying to get out of things? What are we trying to pursue? Is it just a rat race, or is there purpose to what you're doing? Have you thought about what you want out of life? Spend some time, get somewhere quiet, take a notepad, and don't be afraid. You have courage. Look and see what you would like to have your life defined by. Now, I am realistic. I know there's a huge gap sometimes between where you are and where you want to be, and that's why we're huge advocates of being around people that can coach you up, that can teach you what they've learned through their experiences, that can take you from point A to point B. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you don't have a purpose, one thing's for sure: you're not going to reach it. You're not going to achieve it. You're not going to experience it. So I think that in our culture, typically what happens is we just go and get a job. We get a paycheck. We live our life according to what that paycheck allows us to live. If we do a good job, we get a raise. If we do a bad job, we get demoted or fired. Our life changes based on how someone else sees our performance. If we do really good, we get a raise, we get a different car, we might get a bigger house, we might get a bigger yard. And the quest goes on and on and on. That's the joy of the entrepreneur's life, isn't it? Being able to say to yourself, it's exactly 180 degree different. You be able to say to yourself, hey, I'm going to go live this kind of life. This is what I want to do. I want to live here. I want to have this kind of thing. I want to travel this kind of place. I want to be able to pay off college. I want to donate this amount of money to charity. I want to be able to pay off all my debt. All these things that you have to. Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, will help you define why you're doing what you're doing. And once you figure that out, once you figure out what kind of income you need in order to satisfy those things, it's all about time and money. Once you determine what that income is, then you can build a business to reach that plateau. Now, it happens to in America and maybe other places in the world, I can't speak to it, that we get in this pursuit of more. We just get in the pursuit of more. We try to get more. And more is not always better. So what I want to do today is challenge you not to do two things based on those simple concepts. First thing, don't ever do this. Don't ever live your life without an upper limit. Put an upper limit on your success. Now, this might sound a little bit strange. It might sound contrary. It might sound backwards to what you've heard before. Like goal setting, by the way, is that. Goal setting is setting an upper limit. Goal setting is saying, hey, I want to achieve this. At least that's the way that I look at goal setting. Some people might see goal setting as a minimum, like I can't live like I want to live unless I do this. For me, this is where I want what I want to achieve. This is my upper limit. Now, let's talk about upper limits for a second. Do you have one? Have you ever thought of this? Why is an upper limit important? Well, let's take a look at the last 2 years, the way that we've lived in the real estate space. Would an upper limit have been important to your quality of life? It's been interesting since COVID, the way the real estate space has morphed into a feeding frenzy of people trying to find purpose, trying to find protection, trying to find happiness and joy. And a lot of that came in defining their home space. Many people downsized, many people upsized, many people changed locations. They moved to different cities. They went to the place that they'd always been dreaming of because who knew what tomorrow brought? Like seeing months and months of television talking about how negative COVID was affecting our world forced people to do things that they weren't ready to do yet. And so us as real estate agents or people associated with the real estate space, or maybe even other professions, we became the catcher of all of that crazy pitching. People started just demanding everything from us, and we accommodated. If you live or own property along the coast of South Carolina, you probably need insurance. We Insure Advocates is a locally owned independent agency with industry-leading service support. Our team of customer-centric agents can explain your coverage options and help you craft an insurance program that fits your needs and budget. Data-driven for better value, people-led for better service. That's the difference of we. For all of your property insurance needs, please find us at weinsureadvocates.com or call us at 843-491-6990. Much to the chagrin, maybe much to the dismantling, maybe to the sadness of our spouse, of our children, of our health, of our marriages, of our exercise habits, of our diet, of our hobbies, of our free time. Because listen, once people want something and you are in a commission-based environment, or even you're paid based on your performance, when people ask, you act if there's no upper limit. If you don't have an upper limit, if you've never defined for yourself what it is that you're going to say, hey, no, thank you, I have enough, then in a case like the last 2 years, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be maybe lonely. You're going to be maybe out of shape. You're going to maybe be out of practice with your hobbies. You're going to be unread. Maybe you stopped going to church because you were in such high demand. You can see how when there's no ability for the salesperson or for the provider of the service to say, no, thank you, I have enough, the lack of an upper limit will cause you to work yourself to oblivion. Now, the reason this is so fresh on my heart is based directly to our mission statement, right? You have to be able to define abundance. Abundance means this is what, if I have this, I'm content. If I have this, I'm comfortable. This is my definition of abundance. If you and your spouse or your significant other, you and your family, your children, your group doesn't define this, your family group doesn't define this, then you're in the pursuit of something that is vague, and there is no stopping point, and you will reach the point, in my opinion, of burnout and fatigue and discouragement and frustration. The reason this is so fresh on my mind is because I've had conversation after conversation over the last several months with individuals who never thought they'd be where they are. 40-year-olds who had heart attacks, colleagues who had strokes, marriages that were falling apart, people that just couldn't find purpose at work anymore where once they found purpose, children that didn't know their parents, people who used to be in book clubs or in Sunday school weren't there anymore. And you know why? Because in my opinion, they didn't set an upper limit. They couldn't say, no, I've had enough. And they were saying no to all the things that were most valuable to them instead. If I hadn't had several of these conversations, I wouldn't be bringing this idea to you that you need to define for yourself what's enough. It sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Land of opportunity, America, home of the free, land of opportunity. Why would we even want to put an upper limit? Isn't more better? I would like to argue today that more isn't always better. Sometimes more is worse, especially when it's at the expense of your well-being, your habits, your family, all those things that I've just mentioned. So I guess what you have to do for yourself, in my opinion, and the last 2 years in our business has not afforded us this. And that's why I'm a little bit excited about the slowdown. I don't want anybody to make less money. I don't want anybody to suffer in the business. I don't want people to get out if this is what their calling is, if they're supposed to be in our real estate space or some affiliated branch. But the slowdown will afford you the time to ask yourself these questions. Get yourself ready. Find out what is most important. Maybe pursuit of the almighty dollar for ever's sake is your pursuit. Maybe that is your mission, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just define that for yourself and say, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get as much as I can, and I'm not going to stop until I get as much as I can. But for most of us, for some of us, that might not be the case. It might be the case that you need less. You want more balance. You want this or that. But try really hard. Spend some quiet time. Get away. Sit on the beach. Get in your car. Park it somewhere with the air on or the heat, depending on when you decide to do it or where you're listening to me in the world, and ask yourself some questions. If I had this, I would be content. What is that list? Make it. Make that list and then build your life around that hope. Don't let the market determine how much you work. That's not healthy. You set the pace. Don't be afraid to say no. I love the example of the 4 points that we've heard Quintavious Burdett say. At the end of the day, he knows what his pursuit is, what he wants out of the year, and he knows that if he gets these 4 points every day, he can just pack it up. That's why he's not afraid to play video games. That's why he's not afraid to take off and go to the gym or go play golf with his buddies or do whatever he likes to do, go buy another rental property, because he knows what his upper limit is. He knows what he has to do to get the life that he wants to live. Now, I've talked about this for 10 minutes. I've beat a dead horse, maybe. But I want more of us to be able to stand up and say, you know what, this is my definition of abundance, and I'm totally okay with that. And you need to share it with somebody. You need to be held accountable. You need to be willing to say, you know what, I want to make X, Y, Z, and this is the reason why. And you need to surround yourself with people that are talking like this. If everybody is just out for the most they can get, watch that group change over the next several years. Watch how many of your friends get out of the business because of burnout. Watch how many unhealthy situations happen. Watch their families, watch their children, and watch their health. So first thing you should never do, don't live your life without an upper limit. And I'm not saying limit yourself. Set that limit to a stretch. Make it so it's hard, so that you have to work, so it pushes you a little bit, or maybe even a lot. But you have to be able to say no. Maybe you're one of those people, though, that has such a propensity for work that you're never tired, you're never discouraged, you're never turned off, you're like always on, and it doesn't matter how much someone throws at you, you can always handle it. Maybe you're that person. Does your family like that person? I'm not sure. Ask these questions of yourself. You will enjoy this entrepreneurial space so much more.
Do you enjoy this podcast and you're wondering how you can start your own? Well, you're in luck. We help entrepreneurs launch their podcasts in 4 weeks. My name is Haley Murch, and my team and I manage this podcast. I'm a podcast expert who specializes in helping entrepreneurs launch their podcasts. Podcasts are a great way to expand your audience, provide a free resource for your audience, and to grow and monetize your business. We have openings this fall to help entrepreneurs start their podcasts. We would love to help you achieve this goal before the end of the year. Don't keep waiting. The podcast world needs your voice. We also offer support after the launch process to help maintain your podcast, and we do provide other services to current podcasters. If any of this sounds like something you want to do and need support with your podcast journey, please contact me at hello@haleymerch.com, HAILIMURCH.com, or see the links in the show notes to book a call. We cannot wait to help you start your podcast.
The second thing I hope you never do, so never live without an upper limit. Second thing, don't compare yourself to other people. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Some of you are out there thinking, oh gosh, he's saying, don't try to be number one. Don't try to be the best. Don't try to beat your colleagues. Don't try to use those as a motivator to enhance your ability and your performance. It's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying in this instance is directly related again to my personal mission and our mission here at all of our companies, to live the life that you choose. Notice what the definition of that is. It's your life, right? It's your pursuit. It's your upper limit. It's your definition of abundance. And when you get comfortable with that definition, it doesn't matter necessarily what other people get, what other people do, because it doesn't, by the way, affect your life anyway at all. What they achieve doesn't affect your bottom line. Your mortgage company doesn't care at all what someone else produces. So why do you compare yourself to those people? If you want to use it as a motivator, that's fine. But if it doesn't help you get to where you want to be, then what good is it, right? Now, if you and your colleague have exactly the same mission, you have exactly the same definition of abundance, then go for it. Set your goals, set your sights on each other, and work against each other until you can figure out how to get better and better and better, and hopefully you both achieve the same mission, the same definition of abundance. But in my opinion, after having this conversation with hundreds of people over the years, I don't think that will ever be the case, because everyone's definition of abundance is different. Everyone's definition of a life worth living is different, because some people want to give to charity. Even if two people want to give to charities, they often want to give to the different charities. They want to give different amounts. So don't compare yourself to other people. This is one of my least favorite things about club levels at different real estate companies. You know, we celebrate when someone reaches platinum club or chairman's club or whatever they might call it in ABC real estate company. And in my opinion, those things are only worth celebrating when it helps someone live the life they want to live. I just had a friend of mine, a colleague that I worked with several years ago, told me the amount of money that she wanted to make, and I shook my head. I said, but you could make so much more than that. And she said to me, why do I need more than that? And that's the whole idea. If you get caught up in comparing yourself to Sally, who made ABC Club, and you didn't, you need to ask yourself if that is something that would have helped you live the life that you want to live. I see moms raising kids in our real estate space, and feeling bad that they don't have more time to devote to their real estate career because they are being kick-ass moms at home, right? They feel bad that they aren't the same as so-and-so because she's producing or he's producing so much. It's really hard because they have the potential, they have the ability, they could, but they choose not to. And guess what? What I want you to do is get comfortable with the fact that it's okay not to, because your definition of abundance in that example is raising a healthy family. Don't let those years pass you by. You don't want to look back one day and say, man, I should have spent more time with them and less time in real estate, because guess what? At the end of the day, relationships are going to be the thing that you're going to be most happy with. So don't compare yourself to other people unless you are trying to live exactly the same life that they are. This is a very hard one because everybody that does the highest amount of volume and makes the most money is always put on a pedestal as the winner. And it's just very frustrating because it's not winning, in my opinion, is not who has the most money. Winning is the person that is living the life that they want to live. As a matter of fact, more money might make it so you can't live the life you want to live for some people, right? So the fact that they put themselves on pedestals or we put them on pedestals is not fair to those of us that have figured out this is the life that I want to live, and now I'm going to go pursue a business so that I can get there. I don't know how many times I've said that in this 15 minutes, but it's been a bunch, that the life that you live is your life, and you define it, and you go get it. Little side note, by the way, marketing, what is marketing? Is marketing people talking about themselves, or is marketing other people talking about someone's abilities? Like in the day that we live in right now, reviews are a huge thing. Like, so when somebody posts a review of somebody that said something fantastic about 5-star Sally, we look at that and we go, man, that's really great. I might be drawn to work with Sally because she's got 5 stars. But Sally also might get 2 stars. Maybe a person was in a bad mood and gave Sally 2 stars. The next person gives Sally 5 stars, and we post it, and we are so excited that Sally's got 5 stars. That's pretty good marketing, I think, when someone else says something good about you. But marketing, when you say things about yourself, might not be as effective. And I'm the biggest one guilty of this. Like people ask me, why should I be at XYZ company? And I say, I hear it all the time. We have the best training. We have the best culture, community. We have the best broker. We have the best this or that. Every owner, every person says the same thing about their company. That's not effective marketing. That's actually called being confident in the business that you run. And of course, you think you have all of those things. The best marketing is when someone else says something flattering about you when they're not even asked, right? So the 2 things I want you not to do in this pursuit, well, 3 things I want you to do, right? Number 1, I want you to get somewhere quiet, and I want you to try and discover what it is that you're here for. Like, why did you end up on this planet? What is your purpose? What have you been through? What have you learned? What are your experiences? What do you know? Who can you serve? How can you help? What is your purpose? What is your definition of abundant life? If I had this life, I would be super, super content and comfortable. Figure that out, number 1. And then the 2 things not to do. Don't forget your upper limit. Don't live without one, because I don't want to see you in the pursuit of a finish line that's always moving. And finally, the second thing that I don't want you to ever do is compare yourself to other people. Teddy Roosevelt says it perfectly. Comparison is the thief of joy. And isn't that the truth? I hope you found something helpful in this tip from Rise Up in Real Estate. This is where my heart is, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Well, hey, that's a wrap, folks. Thank you so much for listening to Rise Up in Real Estate. If you liked hanging out with us today, please find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Rise Up in Real Estate. Also, Follow us right now on your favorite podcast host to hear more episodes. We really appreciate you spending some of your time with us. And until next time, let's do each other a favor and all help each other rise up.